investors and moneymakers, welcome back to the channel. Nio is at a crucial point, $5.28. It was up 0.38%, which is marginal upside or in green, while Dow Jones was up 134 points and Nasdaq was pretty much flat on Friday. We are at a very crucial point that will decide next week whether Nio goes towards $4 or it is marching towards $6, because $5.28, it's a pretty good resistance, and I did research and I will share with you why this is important. Here is the chart. We are looking at the moving average. Our moving average went down pretty drastically. The RSI is also balanced, but the moving price or moving average, the way it went down, and we are right now at $5.28 for 1 day or 5-day average. If you think about what Nio can do, so $5.32, as I told you before, is our magical price point that we want to be careful about. That's our resistance. Now, that resistance is a psychological resistance. So take a look. It tried going back up about $5.32, precisely $5.35, and we went back down. Before that, we tried to cross $5.32 here, could not sustain. We went as down as $5.08, I want to say. And if you think about what we did in the past, so I'll show you, this is the 5-day chart. I'll show you the 1-month chart, and you should be able to see what I'm trying to get at. Yes, we are seeing a pretty good upside, so the stock overall is looking good. If you think about what we did in 5 or 4 weeks, rather 1 month, we are up 32%, which is a pretty good up. So pat yourself on the back if you bought the stock below $4 at $4. Many of my investors or viewers and subscribers bought the stock at $4. I'll let you decide if you're making 25-30% what you want to do with the stock. It's good strategy. You make money in stock when you click the sell button. Now, you can always dollar cost average as well if the stock price goes down. So there are multiple strategies that you can use to make money in stock market. Especially, I like Nio because it's technically right now a penny stock. You can do 2 types of trades. One is a swing trade because there is upside. There is also it goes down, goes back up. If I show you the 6-month chart, you should be able to see that we had a pretty huge deep and then we got back up. We are not as high as $6.19 that I would like to see. We could not sustain that price point. I'll show you right here. This is our another resistance, $6.12. But before we go there, I want to talk about $5.32 because it's massively important. The day range on a Friday was $5.04. We went as high as $5.39. We were closed at $5.28. 6 months, we were down 32%. 1 month, we are up 32%, which is once again a pretty good sign. 5 days, we are down 5.80%. If you think about what Tesla did last week, Tesla was up in last 5 days, was up 4.38%. So Tesla went up 4 point and change, and Nio went down. So the difference is almost 10% difference. But I'm not trying to compare Nio and Tesla. I'm trying to tell you where the EV is going. Before I go ahead, I wanted to ask you to hit the like button. I need 200 likes on this video. Subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Instagram. The link is in the description below, in the comment below. Please follow me on Instagram. It does not really cost you anything. I put a lot of energy, effort, and time. If you subscribe to the channel, you will get an update when I post another Nio video, which I don't really do too often. I do on a weekly basis or when it needed the most. I want to share my research and analysis with you. This is not buy or sell advice. I'm not a financial advisor or certified professional. What I do is I share the research and analysis that I have done, hoping you can make informed financial decision. So you don't have to decide based on this video, but I would urge you to make this video and this channel part of your due diligence, especially when it comes to Nio. Now let's go back to what I was trying to say. And by the way, if you haven't clicked the like button, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell, okay? Now, Nio, there are multiple things that you want to consider. Once again, we will talk a little bit more about this $5.28. But let me show you what we have done in last 1 month. Right now, that is looking pretty juicy when we went up. we did see a pretty juicy bars, green bars, as you can see. But there was profit booking around 569, and we have seen the red juicy bar as well. But we ended on a buying note with $5.28. Now, if you think about what the RSI is telling us, it is 54.5%. Last 5 days, our RSI is 52%, which is not an overbought or not an oversold condition, which is in the middle. Now, when you don't really have overbought, oversold condition, the stock tends to be stable. Let me show you what the option tells us, right? These are the contract expiring on May 24th, which is next week. Now, with that, you want to see that our momentum is okay. It's on both the sides, the calls and the puts. When you have more momentum in calls, that means the stock is looking bullish. When you have more momentum in puts, that people are bearish on the stock price, right? So if you think about it, the volume is pretty okay. It's not stunning, I have to say that, right? The volume, historical volume, based on the historical understanding and my own analysis, I can tell you that the volume on the put side is looking pretty healthy, or better than at least what you see here at $5. Now, everyone will be in the money on the put side, on the right side, as you see right here. If the stock goes $5, $4.50, $4. Now, we are seeing open interest pretty good as well. So it's a two-edged coin. It's two-edged sword, right? Once again, you want to make sure that where the stock goes, can it sustain about $5.32, as I just mentioned, because that's where the stock has struggled to meet the timeline, right? The price line. Now, if you think about right here, this is our 5-day chart, but let me show you 3-month chart, and you decide yourself. So if I do this chart a little bit smaller, which if it allows me, so right here, take a look. Yes, we are looking bullish for the slightly longer term, but as you can see right here, we went down from 579, could not sustain, and we got a pretty strong support. So this is our support right here. This edge, you want to see the V shape, right? So this is the pointer. We got a support 535. Again, we tried going back up. That's what I told you, that $6.12 is the another resistance. Once we pass that, it becomes a strong support. 532 was a strong support, so it hits there, bounces back up, could not sustain, once again got back down. 529 or 532 right here. 533 bounces back up, again same story. Right here on the 18th of March, it could not really sustain, it went back down. Again, we came back up and we got another support, as you can imagine, around 530. And we are staying 528, 532, so on and so forth. So that's a magic number that you want to consider. Again, I told you about the calls and the puts option, which is looking 50-50. And as I can tell you, both the buyers and the sellers, the bulls and the bear, they are looking for where it goes based on the volume. Now, let's take a look at the volume real quick. 58 million was the volume on Friday. Our average volume, 56.7 million. So think about 56 or 57 million. You should be able to see that we are fairly healthy in terms of the volume for all week last week. When we hit $6.05, our volume was pretty high, 112 million. But one caveat there, right? So volume was high, but we hit the low. We hit the low of 533, which is where we got the support. Now, why did that happen? That happened because of the short volume, short selling pressure. Take a look, 66.80% on the 15th. So if you go back and compare, let's go back here. On the 15th, we got 66% short sellers in FINRA volume, and that's directional volume, right? So overall FINRA volume, 42 million. Overall short volume in FINRA, 28.5 million, which is 67% short volume. What that tells us is short sellers are doubling down when the stock price goes higher. Now, I can understand $6.05. Many people sold because of the swing trade. Now, if you're one of them, I'm not blaming you, or I'm not telling you anything else not to do. But what I'm telling you is the stock, when it hits high super fast, that happened for Nio, from $3.50 or $4, it just ramped back up to $6. So think about it. When you go as a stock price right here, let me show you, from $3.50 or $4 right here, from $3.50 or $3.80 to all the way right here, almost $6, which is not showing up on this chart, but we know that it went to $6. It's just not visible in this chart. But we are seeing 50%, one half price point just skyrocketed. So there will be some healthy selling pressure. and short seller added up, which is why the stock went down. That's my take on this. Write down in the comment section below where you think the stock price can go by the end of May. Also write down if you're buying or selling. If you're buying, write buy. If you're selling, then say sell. Or swing trading, say swing trade, so that can help the community. But at the least, do hit the like button. I need 200 likes. I need subscribes on these videos as well, so go ahead and help me out. Now, one thing you want to talk about Nio, because JP Morgan Chase analysts gave 2 reasons to stop selling. Actually, they changed the rating from sell or to neutral, which is again a pretty good news. Another thing is they launched the SUV last week, and I'll talk about that in a second as well. But let's go back to JP Morgan's Nick Lai, who upgraded EV markets stock, citing new battery as a service as a strategy. So that's pretty important. The share of this company, and Lai said that there were 2 main reasons I want to really tell you. Number 1 is Chinese government policy stimulate to auto demand, which means the Chinese government figured out, like, if they want to succeed in EV market, they have to have friendlier policy that can help the companies, especially the Chinese companies that are heavily invested in EV. So including the neighborhood, electric vehicle and EV, which should benefit Nio. So the Chinese government's policy, that's number 1 you want to think about. That's the Chinese economy. Nio is a Chinese company. They are pretty much based in China. They are strongly placed in terms of the infrastructure, opportunity cost, and first movers advantage in China, which is one of the second largest population on the planet Earth. The second thing is Nio's battery as a service strategy. We talked about the battery swap, which was pretty popular as well. With the battery as a service strategy, that's a monthly rental fee. So think about like your Netflix, you're paying on a monthly basis. So if you use battery as a service, which is a new service from Nio, you pay the rental fees that were lowered by 25%, right? So it's 1/4 down, which means there'll be more buyers. More people can pay or afford this new battery as a service strategy that Nio has, which is successful boosted the store traffic. And BAS, battery as a service, SAS, software as a service, BAS, battery as a service, takes a rate of about 60 to 70% from 20 to 30%. So these are 2 reasons you want to think about. They raised the rating on the stock to neutral from sell and downgraded the underweight in February 23rd, raised the price target to $5.50 or $5.40. Sorry, they raised the price target to $5.40. It's not me. It's the analyst who is doing a lot of analysis with pretty complex algorithm and scenarios, so on and so forth, which I simplify for myself, and directionally it works out well. Yes, I cannot really get to $5.40, but directionally I can think that, oh, if it goes about $5.32, it can go to about $5.80, and if we see that it stays about $5.75, $5.80, it can really quickly hit $6.12, and it's not rocket science that I want to share with you. By the way, Morgan Stanley bought this, and this is very important where the smart money is going. Morgan Stanley bought 10 million shares of Nio Stock in Q1, which is again a pretty encouraging news. I don't really want to spend too much time. One thing I want to tell you is Nio Stock brushes off the bull note product launch, which is very important. We have seen that the stock went to $6 and change, but also helping the stock move the price higher because Nio launched L60 SUV in its Envoy unit. And Envoy is Nio's lower price brand that will compete directly with Tesla's Model Y. And you have to competitive into the competitive market. What Tesla did, they cut the price points. They slashed down the price point. They also got the haircut in their margin, profitability. They want to capture more and more and more and more market share, and Nio wants to make sure that they stay in the competition. Yes, it's not a $1 trillion company. If you think about what Nio is, hardly $10 billion company, right? $11 billion is their US dollars is their market cap. They're trying to meet the ends. They're trying to make sure that they don't run out of money. They're losing money quarter over quarter. Let me show you how much did they lose. Their net income in Q4 2023 was negative $5.50 billion. Q3, their income was negative $4.63 billion. So they're bleeding money, and they want to make sure that they don't run out of money. While the short sellers are doing their part, they're selling heavily, 66%, 61%, 59 or 70% or 60%. So all in all, the short sellers are batting high against Nio, but they launched this product which is helping Nio as the stock, and they are trying to be competitive. And Nio has lost a ton in terms of the price point, and it should come back up. The company is great, but they are into the bad spirit, right? It's in the bad circle right now because people are selling. Short sellers are not stopping. If you think about the opportunity here, if you can jump up from this $4, $5 price point to $16, that's 4x, 4 times 4, 16, or at least 5 times 3 is 15. So if it just hits the 52-week high anytime soon, it's a pretty good opportunity cost. I'm not trying to tell you that it will go $15. What I'm trying to tell you is it has slashed down 2/3 of their price point. So if you think about year to date, we are down 37%. One year, we are down 32%. So can we go? So this is lower low, another, so it's again high, but a lower high, it went back, could not sustain. Lower high or lower low, another lower low. So we want to be very careful where it's going. But if you're doing swing trade, if you're dollar costing average, if you're averaging your price point, LPF, because company is coming back up. They have sold more than 500 million, they have sold 500,000 cars already, and they are on track of selling more and more vehicles, especially with the competitive advantage that they have with Tesla. And the EV market is going to do well because that's the direction, right? Clean energy, that's where we're moving. Number 2 is Chinese government policy is going to help out Nio. Number 3, they are strategically structured with their own infrastructure in China and beyond China as well across the globe. So with all that, I wanted to tell you, watch out for next video. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.